Ouch.
I have these two.
I only have like 3 cavities my whole entire
And
life.
it hurt.
Okay, so what did we do on
I
Wednesday?
thought I shut off my alarm. It's actually
We didn't
Unit raised.
What?
the alarm on here kept going off during the presentation.
Just shut off your whole iPad altogether then.
Well, that takes too long to turn it back on.
No, it's a simple machine. Okay, so what did you do on Wednesday?
Unit raised.
We did unit rate. I'm pretty sure.
Because we
Yes,
went
what
around
did we have set up in here?
Shopping.
Yes, the grocery
Shopping.
store. And what do you remember about unit rates? Do you remember anything? The word unit, what was it like?
Houses.
Nope. They were always something per something, right? Yes, there's a ratio per one. Remember, unit was like uno, one, right?
Yeah.
Okay? And so that's going to be helpful today when we're talking about conversions. Okay? Conversions, you use them a lot in science. There's times when you want to convert, actually you're going to do an activity on Monday. Converting, you're going to take toy cars and you're going to race them. You're going to measure out like 10 feet on the floor, and then you're going to have a stopwatch and time them. And you're going to time them in feet per second, but do you know how fast something is in feet per second?
Oh,
No, because what do cars going?
miles per hour.
Miles per hour. So you're going to find out what cars are. Your cars are going in miles per hour by converting feet per second to miles per hour. Question.
Could we get our own cars?
We have some, but if you want, you can bring your own car in.
For your CO2.
Okay, we're just using
mine.
hey, we're just using Hot Wheels cars, okay?
I used
So,
that and then I gave them all.
If you have a special Hot Wheels car or something that you want to bring in,
I have an entire
you can
collection
feel
of
free.
Hot Wheels cars.
okay. Did you have a question, Austin?
No, yeah.
You're
going back
with
to-
When are we going to do this?
This is Monday. So first we have to learn how to do conversions though, right? So you will be able to convert your miles, your feet per second to miles per hour. Yes. Alright, Scott, so what we talked about was, what did we do on Wednesday? What did we do on Wednesday? Do you remember?
Grocery shop.
Yep, we had a grocery stop. And so we used unit rates in there. Remember those where they're kind of set up as a ratio? Okay? So that's what we're using today, only using them in conversions. And what I said is, on Monday we're doing an activity where you're taking toy cars and you're going to measure how fast they go in feet per second. Well, do you know how fast that is? Does it kind of mean anything to you? No. What do cars go in? Right. So we're going to learn how to convert feet per second to miles per hour so it actually means something. Okay? Awesome.
Should we take a notebook out?
Yeah, so we want to take some notes on these, okay?
Take it enough jokes and felt like we can move.
To get with Matt. Matt has lots of
Are we using all about this stuff? Yeah. Yeah, we're in bio.
We're ready for bio? Yeah.
Do we have stuff on?
I don't know. I was only in there for like 2 minutes. It's my first day.
Okay, another way that conversions are useful is I went to Ireland this past in May. I went. And so Ireland doesn't have the same currency as the US. Ireland uses euros. And I also went to London, and London uses pounds. So I had pounds to convert my money to, and I also had to convert my money to euros. So lots of times they can take advantage of you when you're in foreign countries because they'll be like, oh, it's only 3 euros or something. But an exchange rate is not the exact same. Like the exchange rate when I went was for every 1 euro that you spent, it was $1.40 American money.
So their euro
So
is
it's-
worth more than $1.
Uh-huh.
Dang it.
So what's important for that, especially like when people go to Mexico or something, like pesos, you want to know if you're getting a good deal and they're not just ripping you off. They'd be like, oh, it's only 3 euros, and you'd be like, okay, but how do you know that the exchange rate isn't $2 per thing, so really you're spending $6 and you thought you were only going to be spending $3. Okay? So that's another where this is important.
So,
Did you go there for teaching?
I went there for a class. Okay, you and I.
You
studied
went to
abroad
Goa?
for it. So, if you ever want to ask about it, it's really fun.
Sign me up for that class.
Okay, so conversions. Conversion factors is what we use, is what it's called, okay? And they're a lot like unit rates. Something per 1 unit, okay? So, miles per hour, or one that's commonly used. In 1 hour, how many minutes are there?
60.
60 minutes per 1 hour, okay? And that's a unit conversion because that equals 1. It's 1 for 1. 1 hour, 60 minutes, or, one sec, Jess. In 1 hour, how many minutes are there? 60 minutes. That's the same thing.
Well, we have to divide these. So
We will be using them to multiply. I'll show you, okay? But it's kind of dividing. Canceling stuff out.
How did they figure out that there's 24 hours in there?
I don't know. Ancient Egyptians, I don't know, ancient people like that just spent a lot of time figuring out. Mathematicians, that was math. Figured out with astrology and how the sun went around and the hours and days and the daylight.
they had too much time on it.
She not even our room or something.
So that's a common one. What's another common one? If I give you 1 foot,
12 feet or 12 inches.
12 inches. Okay? And again, it can be flipped. 12 inches on top and 1 foot on the bottom. And you'll see why that matters, why they're both the same, because certain problems, maybe you'll have 60 minutes on top and an hour on the bottom, if you want to convert something to miles per hour. But maybe something else you want hours on top, so you would use the other hour, or the other equation like that. Okay? So I'm just going to jump in to an example. And this one's pretty easy. It's just like you were doing the other day when you actually had to convert, I think what was it? Beef or something? For a pound of beef, you had to know how many ounces were in there, and then multiply it. So you're already doing a conversion in your head. Okay? So we want to convert hours to minutes. And they give us 7 hours. And we want to know how many minutes that is.
So we take 7 times 60.
Okay, so what we do when we're given 1 unit, which is hours, we want to put that over 1. Okay? So everything kind of looks like it's in a ratio. We want them all to look the same, make it easier, right? If things look the same, it looks simpler to solve. Okay, using our conversion factors, we want it to minutes, right? So here we go, hours and minutes. Does minutes go on the top, or does the hour go on the top? Well, if we have 1 hour up here, and we put 60 minutes below,
So you can decide how to switch.
right, we have to switch it because we want minutes, and minutes is on the bottom, and then we get hours squared because we took hours times hours over minutes. That's not at all what we want. We just want minutes, okay? So we'll cross that out. We want 7 hours. And we want it in minutes, so we're going to use this one. We want minutes on top. And what I always do is I circle it. Once I get what I want on top, I circle it, okay?
Why are you circling?
Because I just do it so I know what I got, and so that's all the farther I need to go with minutes.
I
don't
don't
need
know
to-
like that what we should do.
You don't have to do that yourself, but I do it just so I know as soon as I hit minutes, I don't have to do anything else. Like, maybe you could get confused and in 1 minute, there's 60 seconds, okay? And so maybe you would get confused and put that in there, and then you wouldn't have minutes anymore, you'd be left with seconds. Okay, so I always, once I get it up there, I circle it, because it's what I want. And what hours do is they cancel out. It's like cross multiplication when you have fractions. you remember that? They just cancel out because 7 times 60 is, do you guys know? Well, what's 7 times 6? 42, and then we just add that 0. 420 minutes. And what we did is we took minutes times an hour, right? And we divide it by 1 hour. Well, they cancel out because it's just like taking 2 times 3, and then it would be like 3 halves. Say we have 2 times 3 halves. That's the same as putting it over 1 and multiplying on the top. 2 times 3 is 6. Divided by 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. And that's the same as if you cancel these out, you're left with 3. So that's why we can cancel those hours out and they're just left with minutes. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, ready for another problem? So, we're going to convert 15 inches to centimeters. Does anybody know the unit conversion for how many centimeters are in 1 inch?
12.
Nope, that's inches in 1 foot. So centimeters are little ones. There's actually 2.54 centimeters in every inch. So sometime if you look at your ruler and you look at the 1 inch and then you look down to see how many centimeters, there's 2.54 centimeters in every inch. So it can also be written like this, right? 1 inch is 2.54 centimeters. Okay. So what did we start with? We started with 15 inches. So I'm going to put that over 1 because I want it to look just like these conversions. And what do we want on top? We want what? Centimeters or inches? We want it to centimeters. And how many centimeters are in 1 inch?
2.54.
Our inches cancel and we're 15 times 2.54.
It's 38.
Is what?
38.
And what's our label?
Centimeters.
Centimeters. These ones are pretty easy. These are just what you guys have been doing with the ounces when you have to convert it, how many pounds, or if you have 1 pound, how many ounces is it? This is all you were given, and then you took that times your price. So you guys have been doing this. But now, we're going to move on to a few more where you're given 2 variables, one on the top and one on the bottom, that you have to kind of go along with it. Okay? Does everyone have this down?
Not yet. Yeah.
How would you really finish up that lap, you know?
Why am I in that class?
Okay. So on your worksheet you're going to be given today, there's 4 problems where all you're doing is setting up the unit of conversion. So you don't have to worry about any numbers in there. So an example of one. Let's not be dry. This is number 3.
Yeah, that's amazing.
They're going to tell you to change minutes to days. Does anyone know off the top of your head how many minutes are in a day? Right.
So
We don't know that off the top of our head, do we? So we're going to use some of our conversion factors to get there. So, we start off with what? What are we given? We have minutes. We want it in days.
60 times 60.
12,240.
Okay. Maybe, probably, okay? We're just gonna go through what the labels would look like. So we start with minutes, right? They're giving us minutes and we wanna change them to days. So it would be like, say they gave us 3,000 minutes. We wanna change it to days, okay? Minutes. What's a conversion that we know? How many minutes are in?
Hours.
Yeah, how many minutes are in an hour?
60
Okay. Where does 60 go on top or on the bottom?
on top.
Yep, and that was, oh. So if we put 60 on top, that'd be 60 minutes in 1 hour. Do those cancel?
Yeah.
Because remember, they have to be on the bottom to cancel, and we can't cancel that out, can we? No.
So that's 4 hours.
So it's gonna be hours per minute. So I'm just gonna do this problem down below as we go along. So we started out with 3,000 minutes in one, right? And then you told me that there was 1 hour per 60 minutes. Okay. Do I have what I want on top yet?
Yes.
No. I want to get to days. I know we're only in hours, right? But our minutes cancel out. We're good there. So we're getting closer. Well, so up here our minutes cancel out, right? So we're left with hours. What do we know about hours? How many of those do we have in a day?
24.
Does day go on top or on the bottom? We want days in the end. Top. We want what's left on top.
What you want always on second half, right?
Hmm?
What you want is what goes on that.
Yep, what you want in the end goes on. That's hours. Okay? So in the end, our hours canceled, and we were left with day. So down here, we have 1 day, right? And how many hours are in 1 day? 24. We have what we want, a day.
But can't you cancel out the 1 hour between 4 hours?
Yep, the hours, they cancel out. Very good. Because we just want days left. We don't want any hours left, just days. So yep, they cancel. So, to solve this, we multiply across. 3,000 times 1, right? Times 1. Yep, that's just going to be 3,000. Then, we multiply the bottom. We add 1 times 60 times 24. What'd you get? 1,440. Okay. So it's 3,000 over 1,140 days. Does that mean anything? So let's divide it on our calculator and see what we get.
Sort of.
Because this is just like a division sign. 3,000 divided by 1,400.
2.08.
So then we have 2.08 days. And that makes more sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So 3,000 minutes is 2.08 days. Okay. Any questions on that one? It's a lot to keep straight when you have more than one step, right? You just gotta make sure, always write your labels down, okay? Because that's where it can get confusing. If you don't know where you're at, you might do the same conversion twice. Because especially when it's 60 seconds in 1 minute, 60 minutes in 1 hour, okay? You always wanna write down your labels. Okay, here's another one. These are most common. These are like what we'll be doing on Monday with feet per second, changing it to miles per hour. Feet per second is how many miles per hour? Or lots of times they'll be written miles per hour. Okay. If one way is easier for you to remember. Okay. So, has everyone got this one copied down? Or are you still working on it? Okay. So what's different about this one than all the other ones that we've had? Yeah, it's in feet and seconds. Okay? No worries, we can just use what we've been doing though, right? So if they tell us 55 feet per second, what do you think is going to go on top? 55, yeah, 55 feet, okay? Per, see that fraction bar? Just the same, per second. And it's 1 second. When they say per, and there's no numbers with it, you know it's just 1, okay? And those look just the same as we've had, right? A number over 1. Only this time there's just two labels, 2 units. And then when they're ones like these, I always want to put what I want in the end down here, so I know that when I get there. Miles per hour. Again, it's just something that helps me keep it straight when I'm going along through, so I don't get lost. Alright, so now we got a choice. Do we want to convert our length, which is feet, first, get that to miles, or do we want to switch our seconds to hours? It doesn't matter which order you do it in, you get to just pick which one.
Seconds.
You want to do seconds first? Okay. So we want to get to hours. So we need our seconds to cancel. Do we know how many seconds are in an hour?
No.
No. So let's do seconds to minutes first, okay? Do I want seconds on top or minutes? We want them to cancel.
Seconds.
So yes, seconds on top. And there are 60 seconds in 1 minute. You see that, why we put that up there? So our seconds could cancel out. Are we done with our time?
No.
No. Because what are we left with? We have minutes, and we want hours. And how many minutes are in an hour? 60 minutes. In 1 hour. Minutes cancel. What do we have here?
An hour.
Hour. And is that what we want?
Yep.
Yes. And do you see how our times all stayed on the bottom? We had seconds, minutes, and hour. And we want hour on the bottom in the end. So that's a good way to know. You want to keep hour on the bottom, okay? And that's another reason why that's helpful. You know that hour's on the bottom right away. Okay?
So now we want feet to minutes.
Yep, now we want feet to miles. Okay, and there's a conversion that you will see more often, that there are 5,280 feet in 1 mile. And that's one that they tell us that we get to use, so we don't have to go and convert feet to yards and then yards to miles. We can just convert straight feet to miles. So, Do we want 5,280 feet per 1 mile? Or do we want 1 mile is 5,280 feet? The what one? Because we want miles on top, right? So in 1 mile, 5,280 feet. We're left with miles. And do our feet cancel? We have one on the top here, and one on the bottom way down here.
Yeah.
They still cancel even though they're the farthest apart. Are we done? No, we want a solid number, right? So what do we do? Times the top all the way across. So we take 55 times 60 times 60 again times 1. And that's all over, right? Because these all over. 1. 1 again. That makes it nice, doesn't it? It's 5,280. Did anybody get an answer? What'd you get?
198,000 over 5,280.
What'd you say?
198,000
198,000.
over 500 or 5,280.
What's that equal? Divide them out, because we want to know speed. Does that mean anything to us? You can go 198,000 miles in 5,280 hours. So 5,280 hours is a lot of hours.
37.5.
37.5 miles per hour. Or, how it's always written, 37.5 miles per hour.
That'd be bad.
So, you'll have to see if you can get your cars going 37.5 miles per hour on Monday.
That'd be ridiculous.
How fast?
It's all in, what?
How fast?
37.5 miles per hour. So they were going 55 feet per second.
We'll probably do 37.
Well, you guys are going to go 10 feet, and then you're going to measure see how long your car can go in 10 feet. And then you'll convert those to miles per hour. So I doubt your little Hot Wheel cars are going to go 37.5 miles per hour, but
What if we throw them ticket golf? No.
For a few times,
Why
car
are
down
you
there,
that
say,
fast?
they can do that.
obviously wise,
Yes.
5,280 hours is 220 days.
Yeah, that's ridiculous, right? Matt.
Are we gonna do it?
What?
Are we doing the hall?
Huh?
Are we gonna do it in the hall?
Yes, we're going to do it in the hall. Or, well, we might do it in here. I don't know. I don't know what the plan is for sure on Monday. Okay, any questions on this? Before I give you your worksheet?
Yes.
What? Two of them what?
No, I don't.
Okay, this worksheet, the first 4 problems, you'll see when I give it to you, are the ones where all you have to do is set up the units. Okay? They give you an example where we did that one too, where we changed minutes to days. So that one, all you have to do is set up the units because they don't give you any numbers. Okay. So those are what the first 4 are. And then the rest of them, well, 5 through 10 are like the speed ones that we just did. And then 11 and 12, you just have to look and see if they did it right.
How did we get 1 before?
So 1 through 4, you're just setting up the conversions. So change feet to inches.
How do we do that?
So you start with feet, right?
Without numbers, how do we do that?
Just the labels.
Monday.
Yep, this will be due on Monday. Do any of you, and by the way, do any of you have any of those extra credit puzzles that you figured out
I
that
did,
you want to hand in?
but it didn't turn out right.
Well, if you guys want to work over the weekend too, you can always hand it in on Mondays for extra credit, okay? You got, did you get what we were doing on the board? Up on the overhead? I know, I was, you know, calculating that. Well, that's all you do, you put them in. Okay, so you want feet to inches. Well, we start with feet, right? So, feet, see how we did it? They started with minutes, so the minutes was the one. Feet was the one. Okay. Do you know our conversion from feet to inches? So called 1 foot. So we want inches, so you put inches on top, right? So then this one, what do you start with? Per hour, right? Miles. See, now you change just the time. You want to get to minutes, right? So I would go with your feet per minute, just so I know what I want to get to. See your time stays on the bottom. So, do we know an hour and minutes conversion? So, the hours came, so we're left with minutes. So we're going to time miles. Do you remember the miles to feet conversion? So we know miles and feet, right? So miles go on the top, they're on the bottom. Yep. It's close one so far. We changed to feet per minute. This miles. Right. So this one's just working on setting up the equations. Okay. See, like right here, they did minutes, going on minutes to hours, and we go days per hour. So do you know what conversion for feet in inches? So this one's all we're doing is just writing